My take on how the universe started, as far as I'm aware, no one else has come up with this idea. So if I'm right, yay me, another medal in the office. So the criteria as it stands now is there was a big bang, but no one knows what it was created from. There's no creator behind that actually created it, and we're not really sure why it's expanding. So my theory is, just like CERN here, which is that Hadron Collider, where they're trying to create a God particle, an alien race did the same thing, accidentally created a universe. Now to them it's minuscule, but to us, if we was in that universe, it would be massive. So let's look at the criteria now. Creator of everything, yes, an alien race accidentally done it. Started with 2 atoms, so now we can say that it was actually started with 2 atoms. And why is it expanding? Is because they've created a mini universe. So what do you think? Let's meet the Egyptian god Nun. Now Nun was supposedly the creator of everything, but obviously we know he's not, so we break that down. He was the person that actually gave life to Egypt. Now his name represents primeval waters. Now he was the father of Ra. Now we all know Ra as Marduk from Mesopotamia, or Anunnaki. Now who's Marduk's father? Enki. And what is Enki god of? Water. So both of these are the same person. Primeval waters, Enki god of water. Now my opinion is, because he's the god of water, this here, the Nile, I think up from Aswan up to probably Giza, is man-made. And when I say man-made, made by the Anunnaki. Now there are some scientists out there that actually do think that some of these some of this is actually man-made, and the ancient texts for the Sumeria actually talk about them creating rivers, so it kind of makes Devil's Tower, supposedly now a petrified tree stump. So I have a bit of a problem with that, because in order for a tree to grow, you need a tree, another tree to drop the seed, and generally you have more than one tree. Now if you look around here, other than the small ones, that's the only tree around, as you can see there. So the other problem I've got is that is absolutely massively high, and if it's massively high, someone would have had to have gone up and cut that down. Why not cut it down lower? If they've got the technology to get up in the ancient times and cut that down, why not just cut it from the bottom there? That would have been a lot easier. And of course the most important question, what benefit would there have been to cutting that down? And is there any trees around under the ground that's was also giant but just lying under the ground? No one can find any, so I would say no. It's dynasties in Egypt. Now technically there's 32, but most people really only talk about 30 because one was short-lived and one possibly was a continuation of another one. Now a dynasty is where a family will rule for a long period of time, either until they have no more heirs or they're overthrown. So some dynasties can last up to 200 years before they end up being changed to a different one. Osiris, I'll get to his underworld goings on a bit later on and who he was, but it's quite important to find out who his sister was. It was Isis, and she was also his wife. Yeah, and they had a son called Horus. Now as we see here with the Anunnakis, there's a lot of inbreeding going on, just as they did in Greek times as well. So they kept the bloodline as pure as possible. Homosexuality in the ancient times, either with the Anunnaki or Egyptians or Greeks. So I thought I'd better just touch on it. Now, we are aware, if you watch my last videos, that Osiris married his sister and had a kid, Horus. Now, if we look here, Osiris's brother, Set, actually also had a relationship with Horus, supposedly. And obviously he's a male and he's a male. So when we look at the ancient history on how they literally inbreeding was not a problem for them, then I doubt if they would see homosexuality as a problem if they're marrying sisters and uncles are doing things with nephews. So I don't think there would have been a problem with them back then